Night, obviously, we got one Kelsey in Philly. We got another Kelsey in Kansas City. Travis with a season-high 117 yards last week. He has 172 receptions in his playoff career, 21 more than Jerry Rice or anybody else. He continues to turn it on in the biggest games over the last 5 years. He's averaging 72 receiving yards per game in the regular season, 99 per game in the playoffs, and he's been on a tear during the Chiefs' current win streak. 8 touchdown catches in his last 8 playoff games. He sat down with our Chris Berman as KC continues its quest for the three-peat.
It's 3rd down and goal. Mahomes steps up, throws, and he got it! Touchdown, Kelsey!
Is there maybe a look of disbelief, like, oh man, Travis, you're supposed to go over here, but you're over here. But while we're at it, we might as well complete the pass.
I would say it's kind of unspoken at this point. That's the biggest thing that people don't really see is, how much time we put together on the field. I'd love to sit here and say that there's a method to the madness, but it was just a perfect combination of two guys loving to play the game of football and just having an undeniable, desire to keep finding ways to win.
You always get their best shot when you're the defending champ, no matter if they're a good team, bad team, middle team. Did you feel it was even more this year?
I don't know if I felt it even more. I think ever since we've shown we could win a championship, I felt like everybody's been throwing their best shot. Similar to how I felt playing the Patriots or playing the Seahawks earlier on in my career. It's not an easy thing to do, especially when you're trying to bring along some young guys or some new faces that haven't been here winning it with you. So it's been a challenge, but it goes back to one guy, man, Andy Reid.
You guys dreamt up ways to win games this year that, I don't know. I mean, you guys could sit around, whether it's in April and have a few beers, say, hey, why don't we win a game this way this year? We all saw it the Thursday game when the equipment man of the Ravens unfortunately gave a really good tight end, likely a size 15 shoe, but he's got 13 feet.
Game of inches, baby. Game of inches. Isaiah is an unbelievable player, man. I know he's kicking himself because that touchdown would have gave them a chance to go for 2 and possibly tie that thing up, man.
At Atlanta, really, it wasn't a goal line stand, but I give your defense, they were on the 12, 13, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and they stopped. And that's old school, kind of like a lot last year. Right?
Yeah, and that wasn't the first goal line stand. Right. We had a few of them that day, so you can't necessarily just call it
right.
The last one was the one that counted. It was the first couple, I think 1 or 2 before that the defense came up real big for us.
Then we had Leo Chanel number 5.
Oh yeah, baby.
Good perfume. Better kick blocker.
This kick is blocked! It's blocked!
Our ultimate warrior. Just when you need him the most, man, you call on him to make a big play, man. You see him on the field, and it feels like he can do just about everything you need him to. And sure enough, man, we needed him to come up big for us, and he did.
Then the favorite one, because I'm going to come to you at part of it was the doink that won the division. It's my favorite moment watching your games because you had as wide a grin on your face because it was like you were looking at Pat like, okay, we got real deep, which is what we needed to do.
It was the one that kind of felt like too good to be true. It was like, man, did that really just happen? Did we really just, win it by the hair on our chin yet again?
In retrospect, you never like to lose a game. And it's Buffalo, and again, that's one of their Armageddons. But can you imagine being undefeated? Not that you couldn't handle it, but honestly, as it turned out, was it a blessing?
Winning at the end of a ball game like we did so many times, it still puts a sense of urgency and an emphasis on we got to be better. We got to do better. We can't put ourselves in these situations. If games were blowouts, yeah, that might have been something that we needed. We needed to have an ego check, but this team is week in, week out taking the respect and the challenge from the coaches that, we need to get better and we need to be playing our best football going into January.
A fantastic conversation there with Boomer and Travis Kelce. And Jason Kelce rejoins us from Philadelphia after his stunning defeat in the bench press competition earlier. but Jason, that whole conversation, and it was so interesting to listen to all the ways your brother's team won. They have won 16 consecutive one-score games, which is an NFL record. You obviously now have the time to watch them closely every week. Why specifically do you think they are so unprecedentedly good in these tight situations?
Well, I think as a team and as a group, they've been in those situations a bunch. I think with everything, the more you're in a situation, the more you've been thrust into them, the more you have that experience, the more comfortable you are. And especially for them, they've executed so well in those. And it starts with Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes. I mean, Patrick is so good in these situations. He's so good off the cuff and operating these 2-minute, crucial situations, whether it's, finding a way to make a play with his feet, find a way to make play in the air. Him and Travis have this weird kind of almost this ability to be connected even though they're not on the same page or doing something that is different from what the play was called. And I think that allows them to find a way to get it done. And I think the team now has been in these situations. Now they're getting blocked field goals. They're finding ways to extend it, whether it's special teams or on offense or on defense. They feel really confident in these situations that they're going to find a way. And I think when that confidence is there, and when you have experienced players who have been there before, you tend to get it done at a high level.
Now, in that same conversation, your brother told Boomer that he hasn't heard anybody in the building talking about a three-peat, which obviously would be unprecedented in the Super Bowl era. The last thing in the world anyone is doing is accusing him of being a liar. But is there any way in the world that that's true and that they are not very well aware of the history that they could potentially make with 2 more wins?
Well, I can tell you firsthand, Travis has always been somebody that would be able to, I don't want to call him a liar, but he'll tell a white lie every once in a while. I mean, he's been known to do that in the family dinners. So, but I think the reality is you have to approach it that way, right? Every season, it feels like it's a repeat, but every team, every year is different. And the way this group is going to win, the way this group is going to get a Super Bowl, if they can, is going to be different than the past 2 seasons. They have a lot of continuity. They have Pat Mahomes back. They have Travis Kelce back. They have Andy Reid back, Steve Spagnuolo, Matt Nagy. There is a lot of things returning from last season, but it's always different year to year, and they have to approach it different. And I think that's why they're probably talking like that. But at the same time, everybody knows it's also in the back of their mind that they have a chance to do something really, really special.
Well, they'll have to win one tonight and then potentially win another one in 2 weeks. Jason, outstanding. Thank you. We'll come back to you in Philadelphia as we continue. Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes will try to continue their incredible run against an opponent they are perfect against in the postseason. Mahomes 3-0 against Buffalo in the playoffs with 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. He has a ridiculous QBR of 95. That's out of 100. In these 3 games, and Kansas City has averaged nearly 36 points per game in those matchups. So Jeff Darlington is covering the Chiefs for us today. Jeff, what has been the mood around these Chiefs players getting set for this game?
Well, Greeny, I'm going to echo something that Jason was just talking about when it comes to what Patrick Mahomes has been saying. He actually talked to a bunch of the younger players this week to make sure they realize it is not normal to be in the Super Bowl every year. He said that a lot of these guys, all they know is the Super Bowl. But the funny thing about that to me is that all Patrick Mahomes knows is AFC Championship games. He literally